The very first traces of the genus Homo appear in Africa around 2.5 million years ago. Upright walking, rudimentary stone tools, and group hunting form their basis of survival. About 300,000 years ago, anatomically modern Homo sapiens emerge, equipped with complex language and abstract thought. Around 70,000 years ago, a so-called cognitive revolution occurs. People begin crafting sophisticated tools, wearing shell ornaments and carrying portable artworks, forging shared myths, rituals, and division of labor. Some 60,000 years ago, Homo sapiens migrate out of Africa, gradually spreading across Eurasia, reaching Australia, and by about 15,000 years ago, the Americas. The end of the last ice age drives them to explore new habitats, river valleys, forest steppes, and coastlines. A nomadic lifestyle persists, yet accumulated knowledge of natural cycles lays the groundwork for eventual sedentarism. The Neolithic Revolution, beginning around 12,000 BCE in the Fertile Crescent, marks the shift to agriculture and animal husbandry. Barley, wheat, and pulses become staple crops. In China, rice. In Mesoamerica, maize and beans. In South America, potatoes. Settling down leads to population growth, village life, a division of labor and personal property, and to social inequality and resource accumulation. By roughly 3,500 BCE, city-states arise in Mesopotamia. Uruk, Ur, and Lagash see the construction of ziggurats and the invention of cuneiform on clay tablets. Around 3,100 BCE, Upper and Lower Egypt unite under the pharaohs. Pyramids appear and elaborate bureaucracies form. In the Indus Valley, Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro develop grid-planned cities with drainage systems. China's Yangshao and Longshan cultures lay the foundations for the later Shang dynasty. The Bronze Age brings long-distance trade between the Black Aegean and Mediterranean seas, along with cultural exchange and technological innovation. Yet by the late 2nd millennium BCE, droughts, nomadic migrations, and internecine strife trigger a Bronze Age collapse. Civilizations fall, writing is lost, trade routes break. From these ruins emerge Phoenicia with its alphabet, making writing widely accessible, and early ironworking spreads across the Near East. Between the 8th and 6th centuries BCE, Greek city-states experiment with citizen assemblies, from plebeian councils to Athenian democracy. Simultaneously, the Achaemenid Persian Empire stretches from Egypt to India. In 6th century India, Buddhism and Jainism arise. In China, Confucianism and Taoism lay moral philosophical foundations that will influence millions for millennia. In the 4th century BCE, Alexander the Great topples Persia, inaugurating Hellenistic fusion of Greek and Eastern cultures. In India, Ashoka's Mauryan Empire, 3rd century BCE, spreads Buddhism and religious tolerance. In 221 BCE, Qin Shi Huang unifies China, standardizes script, weights, and coins. By 206 BCE, the Han dynasty opens the Silk Road and lends its name, Han, to the Chinese. In Rome, the Republic becomes an empire in the 1st century BCE under Augustus, ushering in 2 centuries of Pax Romana. Roads, aqueducts, and legal codes that cement Western civilization. Early Christianity, once persecuted, becomes state religion in the 4th century CE. Meanwhile, China fractures politically after Han's fall, though Confucian and Taoist ideas endure in schools and texts. Late antiquity, 3rd–6th century CE, sees mass migrations, the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 CE, and the rise of Byzantium. In India, the Gupta Age, 4th, 6th centuries heralds a golden age of science, art, and architecture. In 7th century Arabia, Muhammad founds Islam, which by his death in 632 CE unites the peninsula under a new faith. Between the 8th and 10th centuries, the Islamic caliphates enjoy a golden age. Universities in Cordoba and Baghdad translate ancient works and produce original treatises on mathematics, astronomy, and medicine. The Tang dynasty, 7th, 10th centuries, ushers in China's golden age of poetry and painting. In Mesoamerica, the Maya and Teotihuacan civilizations flourish. Europe's High Middle Ages, 11th, 15th centuries, are defined by feudalism, the Crusades, and the founding of Bologna, Oxford, and Paris universities. South of the Sahara, the Ghana, Mali, and Songhai empires rise. Mali's Mansa Musa, early 14th century, displays unprecedented wealth in Timbuktu's scholarly institutions. In the early 13th century, Genghis Khan's Mongol conquests forged the largest contiguous land empire, enabling a Pax Mongolica that revives transcontinental trade. The Renaissance, 15th, 16th centuries, rekindles classical learning. Botticelli, Leonardo, and Michelangelo create masterpieces. Gutenberg's printing press, 1440 CE, revolutionizes knowledge dissemination. Age of Discovery voyages transform global maps. Columbus in 1492, da Gama in 1498, Magellan's circumnavigation, 1519 to 1522. Colonial empires reshape demographics, economies, and cultures worldwide. Luther's Reformation, 1517, spawns Protestant churches and religious wars. Meanwhile, in Asia, the Mughal Empire prospers in India, the Safavids in Persia, and the Ottomans from the Balkans to the Middle East. China's Ming dynasty gives way to the Qing, expanding territory and strengthening bureaucracy. The 17th, 18th centuries bring the scientific revolution. Copernicus, Kepler, Galileo, and Newton redefine the cosmos and mechanics. Enlightenment thinkers, Voltaire, Rousseau, Kant, advocate human rights and rational governance. The American Revolution, 1776, and French Revolution, 1789, establish modern republics. Napoleonic Wars and the Congress of Vienna, 1815, redraw Europe's map. The Industrial Revolution in late 18th century Britain, Arkwright's and Watt's steam engines, sparks mechanized production. Canals, railways, and telegraphs bind nations. By the 19th century, industrialization spreads to Western Europe, North America, and Meiji-era Japan. Capitalism, banking, and global trade expand, prompting labor movements and early women's suffrage campaigns. World War I, 1914 to 1918, shatters 4 empires and kills millions. The 1917 Russian Revolution establishes the USSR. The League of Nations fails to prevent conflict, leading to the Great Depression, 1929, and the rise of fascism. World War II, 1939 to 1945, engulfs the globe. The Holocaust, atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and the founding of the United Nations, 1945. The Cold War, 1947 to 1991, pits the U.S. against the USSR in an arms and space race, with proxy wars in Korea, Vietnam, and Africa. Decolonization follows. India gains independence in 1947. Most African nations by the 1950s to 60s. From the 1970s onward, Western Europe and Japan enjoy post-war economic miracles. The Green Revolution modernizes agriculture. Computers and digital tech emerge. civil rights, feminism, and environmentalism reshape societies. The Berlin Wall falls in 1989. The USSR dissolves in 1991, inaugurating globalization. Open markets, the internet, and mobile connectivity unite the world. Yet in the early 21st century, globalization also deepens divides between wealthy and poor regions. Infrastructure gaps, corruption, and colonial legacies hinder many countries. Millions migrate for work and safety, sparking political and humanitarian crises. By the mid-2000s, 20s focus shifts to combating climate change and a green economy. Wind, solar, and biomass power scale up. Coal and oil recede. Smart grids and electric vehicles optimize energy. Carbon capture and synthetic fuels aim to close the CO2 loop. Biotechnology ushers in a bio-industrial era. By 2025, gene editing cures inherited diseases in embryos and grows patient-matched organs. CRISPR-engineered crops resist pests and drought. Ethical debates arise over designer babies, biodiversity, and mutation risks. Information technology permeates all sectors. The Internet of Things links homes and factories. Smart cities manage traffic, lighting, and utilities. AI handles accounting, diagnoses illnesses, and advises in courtrooms, sparking black box concerns and laws mandating the right to explanation. A new space age unfolds as private and public programs launch mega constellations for global internet. Robotic geologists land on Mars and lunar base agreements form among China, India, the US, and Europe. Orbital factories churn out solar panels. Moon stations test closed ecosystems using lunar ice. Culturally, millennials yield to Generation Z, true digital natives valuing flexibility, personal growth, and global mobility. Virtual auditoriums host classes, concerts, and collaborations. Far from erasing traditions, global connectivity spurs glocalization. Hybrid music, crafts, and languages blending local heritage with global trends. Political maps reconfigure regional blocs and digital federations coalesce around trade, environmental, and cybersecurity goals. The Eurasian Economic Union expands. The African Union explores a digital currency. Latin American nations trial blockchain voting for transparency. Resources vital to the green transition, rare earths and fresh water, spark new conflicts. Water wars in Asia and the Middle East drive transboundary management and desalination cooperation. In cyberspace, nation-state attacks on energy and finance networks prompt treaties on future weapons, cyber weapons, and autonomous systems. Medicine undergoes a revolution. Telemedicine and wearable biosensors continuously monitor health and mood, delivering real-time advice. The COVID-19 pandemic, 2020 to 2022, strengthened epidemic surveillance but raised privacy and civil liberties concerns. Satellite data and AI models track ecosystems and biodiversity, desertification zones, deforestation hotspots, and endangered species. The 2024 Green Hands project deploys coral restoration robots and replants mangroves, showcasing technology's power to revive lost habitats. Augmented and virtual reality let us live history, trek virtually to Mars, and attend holographic lectures from world-class universities, redefining space and learning. From Moscow at dawn to Nairobi by day to a virtual Mediterranean cafe at night. Yet the true resource is human creativity and cooperation. Global challenges demand not only innovation but new ethical, philosophical, and spiritual frameworks to unite diverse cultures and faiths. AI ethics and bioethics emerge alongside international accords ensuring science serves all humanity, not just elites. By late 2025, on the eve of a new era, the central questions shift from what can we do to what must we avoid, and what responsibilities will we shoulder for our shared home, Earth, and our onward journey into the cosmos. History teaches that only through collaboration, innovation, and an updated ethical compact can we turn challenges into opportunities and forge the next chapter of human advancement.